Thinking about buying a home for someone using a special needs trust? You're probably asking yourself, is this even allowed? Will it affect benefits like SSI or Medi-Cal? And what if we choose the wrong property or the wrong process? If you're a fiduciary trustee or family member making this decision, you're not alone and you're not without the need for guidance. In this video, I'm walking you through a clear step-by-step checklist of things to consider when buying real estate inside a special needs trust. We'll cover the legal framework, practical tips, red flags to avoid, and how to make sure the home supports the beneficiary without putting benefits or the trust at risk. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Andrew Vries. I help professional and family fiduciaries sell probate and trust real estate in the San Francisco Bay Area with less stress, less liability, and for more money. I've closed over 900 of these transactions in the last 20 plus years, and with this channel, I'm here to help you avoid costly mistakes. So let's dive in and start with the basics. What exactly is a special needs trust, and why would you use one to buy a home? A special needs trust, often called an SNT, is a legal structure that holds assets for the benefit of someone with a disability. The key purpose? To improve the quality of life without disqualifying them for vital public benefits like SSI or Medi-Cal. That's why these trusts are so powerful. They allow families to provide stability and support for things like housing, transportation, or therapy without compromising the government assistance their loved ones depend on. Now let's talk about real estate. Many families consider buying a home inside a special needs trust because it offers long-term housing security for the beneficiary of the trust. The home can be customized to meet physical needs like ramps, accessible bathrooms, or caregiver space, and it becomes a protected asset held for the beneficiary's use, not their ownership. This is incredibly important. The home must be purchased and held by the trust itself, not in the name of the individual. That way, it's not counted as a personal asset, which could disqualify them from benefits. And here's a reminder for fiduciaries. Every decision from purchase to maintenance must be made in the sole interest of the beneficiary, not what the family prefers and not what's easiest or cheapest or fanciest, but what provides the most stable, suitable living environment for the person the trust is meant to serve. Before you start searching for the right home, there's one critical question to answer first. Does this trust even allow for the real estate purchase? Not every special needs trust includes language that permits the trustee to buy a home. Some trusts require advance court approval, while others restrict the use for funds for real property or prohibit borrowing against it altogether. So your first step as a fiduciary or family advisor is to review the trust document with the estate attorney. Here are the key things you'll want to confirm. Is the trustee authorized to purchase real estate on behalf of the trust? Can funds be used for down payments, repairs, or accessibility upgrades? Are there limits on how much can be spent or where the home can be located? Does the trust allow for ownership with a mortgage, or must the home be purchased outright? Is court approval required? If so, your offer timeline will need to reflect that. Getting clarity upfront helps avoid wasted time and potential liability later on. Remember, just because the trust has money doesn't mean the trustee can automatically use it to buy a home. Every step needs to be backed by the authority laid out in the trust document or approved by the court if required. This is where your legal team, financial advisor, and real estate team become your best ally. Before we talk about showing you properties, we'll make sure the purchase is both legally allowed, affordable, and fully defensible so you can move forward with confidence, not confusion. This next point is crucial because it's what makes special needs trusts so powerful and also so sensitive. If the home purchase isn't structured correctly, the beneficiary could lose access to SSI or Medi-Cal. To prevent these, there are two golden rules every fiduciary must follow. First, the property must be titled in the name of the trust, not in the name of the beneficiary. Why? Because if the home is owned directly by the beneficiary, it becomes a countable asset, and that can disqualify them from needs-based programs like SSI or Medi-Cal. Second, the home must be used solely for the benefit of the beneficiary. That means it's their residence. In most cases, not a rental, not a shared vacation home, and not a way to generate income for others. Even if well-meaning family members help manage the home, the uses and expenses must clearly support the person the trust was created to protect. Missteps here aren't just inconvenient, they're high risk. Improper vesting, Shared ownership or unapproved use of the property can all result in the suspension or loss of these critical benefits. And in some cases, there may be payback requirements from the trust. That's why we work closely with your legal team, financial and benefits team to ensure everything is structured for compliance, from the way the offer is written to how the home is titled, insured, and maintained. It's not just about buying a house, it's about buying a home that's safe, secure, and benefits proof. And in addition to following the legal guidelines and protecting benefits, the next point ensures the long-term viability of the property for the beneficiary and the family, and that is creating a budget to see what is possible and sustainable. As anyone who has seen the movie The Money Pit with Tom Hanks knows, real estate can be expensive to maintain. And outfitting and maintaining a home in a special needs trust is no exception, and in fact can require more maintenance over time. Just a few of the key questions we ask to help frame the budget are as follows. Will the home need accessibility upgrades such as ramps, lifts, widened doorways, accessible fixtures, and maybe safe parking for modified vehicles? What will the costs of those be? What are the other upfront costs for furniture, appliances, or landscaping that may be necessary? What about long-term maintenance, utilities, property taxes, and more? Once you've confirmed that a home purchase is legally and financially possible, the next steps is one of the most personal and important. What kind of home will actually serve the beneficiary well? This isn't just about square footage or lot size, it's about meeting the real everyday needs of someone who may rely on this space for stability, independence, and care for a long time to come. Start with physical accessibility. Does the beneficiary use a wheelchair or walker? If so, you may need a single-level home, widened hallways and doorways, an accessible bathroom, or space to install ramps and lifts. Homes with a lot of stairs or small bathrooms could require significant and expensive modification. Next, think about the sensory environment. Is the beneficiary sensitive to noise, light, or crowds? A quiet street, enclosed yard, or less urban area may offer greater comfort and emotional well-being. Location is equally essential. Proximity to essential services like hospitals, therapists, regional centers, and/or nearby support systems can dramatically reduce stress and support continuity of care. You'll also want to consider whether there's room for live-in caregivers and visiting aides with private space and sufficient parking. Finally, we always look at sustainability. Can this home be maintained for the life of the trust? Are property taxes manageable? Will modifications push the trust beyond its financial means? Our role as an S&T real estate broker is to help you evaluate these questions practically, without judgment, and pair them with real-world housing options that fit both the trust's authority and the beneficiary's life. That's why, first and foremost, I can't emphasize enough that you want a real estate broker who specializes in working with trust properties and has experience with special needs trust purchases. This isn't the time to work with someone who's never heard of public benefit limits, doesn't understand how vesting affects eligibility, and how the property must help a disabled beneficiary for the long term. They should know how to coordinate with attorneys and benefits consultants to help the fiduciary make the best legal, financial, and care real estate moves for the beneficiaries. This will include how to help them budget for modifications and maintenance, how to help them manage the process and timelines that align with legal authority, financial requirements, and beneficiary needs, and most importantly, how to evaluate properties to find those most closely aligned with the beneficiary's needs and protect the fiduciary and special needs trusts from purchasing the wrong property. Before we get started on the search, we ask our clients to sign a buyer-broker agreement because that clarifies that they're hiring us and that we now have a fiduciary duty to them as trustees of the special needs trust. And that gives them the confidence that the trust interests and therefore the beneficiaries are front and center. And with the right real estate team, every step of this process becomes more manageable, less risky, and more focused on what matters most, creating a secure, comfortable home for the beneficiary without sacrificing the protections the trust is meant to provide. Once you've found the right property, it's time to move into the final phase: offers, due diligence, and closing. During escrow, we recommend using your contingencies strategically. This is your chance to complete full inspections, home, roof, and pest, and assess further whether the property can be safely and affordably adapted for the beneficiary's needs. And as you approach closing, we help you coordinate utilities, insurance, and a move-in plan that supports both the beneficiary and any caregivers. Throughout it all, we document every step: property shown, offers written, inspections performed, approval from counsel, so that if the purchase is ever reviewed, you can clearly show it was handled responsibly and in the beneficiary's best interest. This isn't just about closing a deal. It's about opening a door to security, comfort, and long-term stability. And we're here to make sure you get there safely, legally, and confidently. Buying a home through a special needs trust isn't a typical transaction. It's a fiduciary act, a legal process, and a deeply personal decision with long-term implications all in one. With the right preparation, the right team, and a step-by-step strategy, it can create a safe, stable living environment that honors both the beneficiary's needs and the legal standards for the trust. If you're a trustee, fiduciary, or family member navigating this process, we're here to help. Our team understands how to bridge real estate, benefits compliance, and long-term trust management. Call us today or visit probateagent.com for a personalized consultation. And please subscribe for more videos just like this, built to support families and fiduciaries at every step of the process.